Okay, so today is March 6, 2024, and we're looking at the S&P 500 futures. After yesterday's sell-off, we are now back in balance in the daily and in the weekly, because we broke the previous week's low. You actually also retested the scene of the crime from where we rallied last week after the PCE report. So this one right here, I can delete this one because it's not, we already revisited this. But so we tested below the area where I've been mentioning we're gonna find buyers, and we did find buyers. We bounced pretty hard and got back to the 5090 area. If you looked at, I always say this, right? When you're trading in the range, and this was this range, we broke above, started putting some volume there, and then we came back into range. And I always say the same thing, and it always happens. And lately in this market, it's been happening pretty quickly. Usually it takes a couple of days, but coming back in this range, I always say if we break back inside the range, target the other side of the range, the other side of balance, and we came back all the way to here. I wasn't expecting the whole move down in one day, but because we were trading up here the previous day. But anyway, we sold off all the way, and at that low volume area that we had marked as the buy zone, we bounced pretty hard. Also, we had the 20-day moving average. So when you have a few things together, it makes it for a stronger support. So we had this liquidity draw, we had the previous week's low, we had the 20-period moving average, we had the low volume area, the low side of the range. So all of that together it was pretty obvious that you're gonna have buyers there. And then overnight, we keep moving, and now we're back on the upper side of the range. So now we are flirting with this weekly pivot, which if we break back above yesterday's high, then we're gonna start looking to fill the gap. This is the RTH gap that fills at 51.34 and a quarter. And if we do that, then I would be looking to travel all the way to the other side of this little 2-day, 1.5 day balance, I would say. I would call it, because this was a trending day. Then we balanced for the second part of the day, and then we balanced the next day up here. We do have a nice excess up here. So I don't know if we're gonna be able to make new highs. I'm sorry, here we have a nice excess, and I don't know if we're gonna be able to make new highs, but I had, if you remember a few days ago, I had my target at 51.80 if we broke above this range, and I get that by double in this range. So we'll see. Value is down here, so this is, as long as we stay below inside yesterday's range, then this is going to be a magnet. So all this high volume area is going to be a magnet. So, but also this is going to be a little choppy. So trading in here is going to be choppy. Buyers should defend this, and sellers we should expect some sellers to be up here in this area. So we'll see how this resolves at the open. But basically, I'm gonna be looking at, the first thing that I'm gonna be looking is this, we have inventories mostly long, right? Because the close yesterday was down here, 50.86. So it's like we're about 95% long inventory. So usually you see a correction of inventory to the downside. Yesterday we had the exact opposite because we had short inventory and we never got to correct inventory. We attempted early on, but then we failed, and that was the trigger to go short. We tried, we got short. I mean, we failed, so that was the trigger to go short. We couldn't correct inventory. Now it might happen today that we have the opposite situation where we attempt to correct inventory and we fail, and then we move higher towards this closing that gap. Now, so that's the first thing I'm going to be looking. How do we open? Do we open and right away attempt to break yesterday's high and close the gap, or do we failed and then come back into this area? This half back from the overnight session is gonna be a bit of support, and if we enter and hold below 50.99, which is yesterday's value area high, there's a high chance that we come back into the low side of value, which is at 50.69. So keep that in mind, right? Coming back into value below 50.99 and spending some time and volume there triggers the other side of value. Obviously, the opposite is also true. If we get above yesterday's high and we have the value area from the previous day, I think it was Friday, then it triggers the other side up here. Sorry, that was an alarm for crude. Okay, crude's making new highs, going to that 80 level that I mentioned this morning. And now I'm getting pissed because I got stopped out on my long trade on crude, but whatever, it happens. Okay, so all right, so NQ. Let's look at NQ. NQ, the structure is pretty similar. So we have this 20-day and 90-day now point of control at 18,000 and let's call it 15. And the same thing, right? Breaking above yesterday's high targets triggers that the move towards filling the gap at 18,236, and then the 5-day point of control is up here. So what buyers want to do is establish value higher and spend some time and volume up here. So far value is here, so every attempt to break that fails is going to target this 18,015. And then the same thing goes for NQ. Getting below here and getting into this distribution is going to target the other side of value down here at 17,850. Crude oil, which I was just talking about. Give me a second to pull this chart. Oh, I'm so annoyed at this trade right now. I gotta tell myself that it's okay, that there's always a next trade, right? So I took this breakout when we broke above 79, and then I moved my stop, and I got stopped out for maybe I think 15-16 cents on that trade, and now it's moving pretty hard into the 80s. But 79 is my line in the sand. Is, you know, the breakout out of this range. So as long as it holds 79, it's gonna keep pushing into this 80 area. If it breaks below 79 again, I would target this 77.60, 77.80, right? Okay, I think that's pretty much it. I've been looking at I finally got around to set up my volume profile for Bitcoin, and believe it or not, I thought it sucked to trade, but I think I'm gonna start trading it a little more. I took some trades this morning. I figured out that the micro Bitcoins have way more liquidity. But the way you have to set up the charts are using range charts instead of charts by time. So you get a little more cleaner charts and setups, but let me see if I can show this here. Can you guys see that? Yeah, so that's that Bitcoin. So there's some support at 65,000. We're in a double distribution. Stronger support at 60,000. I took a long and around this area and targeting the 5-day point of control, which is right here. But I'm playing around with it. I've never day traded Bitcoin, so I'm just gonna play around some more and then report back. All right. Good luck to everybody. Oh! Very important. There's a Powell testimony today. So be careful. Around 10 a.m. we have Powell testimony. That's gonna trigger some moves and some volatility. There's also U.S. JOLTS report, job openings, and wholesale inventory. Then we have crude oil inventories. We have Fed speaking at 12. Fed's beige book at 2 p.m. So there's a lot of room for volatility and for moves and opportunities today. So just be careful. Okay.